close and personal.
Hello everybody, it's Amanda. I have Caleb with me tonight because David is at home sick. How about you, Rascal? We are in Job 21. Do we need a synopsis of last week?
I love them.
Go for it, love. While you're giving a synopsis, I'm gonna fix me one more cup of coffee.
You go ahead, but it ain't gonna take me long to do a synopsis.
Oh Lord.
Okay, last week we learned that Zophar likes to hear himself speak pretty much. He tried to make all these facts about wicked, but the wicked people and everything, and about how God immediately punishes them and everything. But we know that not to always be the case. So this week we are going over Job's response. Once my partner gets back. Maybe.
I don't think that it is.
Okay.
For some reason, everybody needs coffee right now.
Wait, y'all want me to put it in the sink?
He's actually making coffee.
Is he making coffee? Okay, then I'm gonna go on without him. All right, so we want to start Job 21. Shh. Shh. I'm fixing to start. You're lucky you on camera. All right. Then Job spoke again. Listen closely to what I am saying. That's one consolation you can give me. Bear with me and let me speak. After I have spoken, you may resume mocking me. My complaint is with God, not with people. I have good reason to be so impatient. Look at me and be stunned. Put your hand over your mouth in shock. When I think about what I am saying, I shudder. My body trembles. Okay. So basically, in this section, Job is telling his friends that his quarrel, I guess you could say, is not with him, it's with God. That even though everything he's gone through has basically been an attack on him physically, his concern is spiritually. Why is God punishing him when he is, for all intents and purposes, a righteous man? He hadn't done anything to sin against God and everything, but his friends keep on attacking him and everything, and he's basically fed up at this point. I had another thought that left me. Okay. My commentary that I read, Warren had made a point that this speech of Job's was actually coming from his gut, I guess you could say. All of his other speeches before and everything had basically stemmed from his grief, losing his kids, losing all of his possessions, his health, his friends at this point, and everything. So this speech is actually coming from his gut because he's confused. He doesn't know what he's done, and he wants God to answer him, and God so far is silent to him and everything. You got anything to add?
Verses 3 and 4, because you're reading.
I'm reading NLT tonight.
Okay, you're okay.
Yeah, I'm reading NLT
Okay,
tonight.
okay. But I love how he said it. Bear with me, because he's having to gather his thoughts. Yeah, he's got so much rolling through his mind right now, it's driving him nuts. He says, let me speak. After I have spoken, you may resume mocking me. Because he knows they're going to have something else to say. He's already set up. He's already prepared for this. I know you got something to throw at me. Well, you're going to catch this first before you throw it. Yeah, hold up for just a minute. My complaint is with God, not with people. You know, I have good reason to be impatient. Just like you said, he is a blameless man. And he's wore out, he's tired, he's done lost his family, his fortune, his house, you name it, he has lost it, just like she said, and he's losing his patience. It's like, God, you've done all this for what? And then you send these three people to point out even more things that I know is not right. Yeah.
I guess, well, I mean, yeah, I agree with you on that, and something else too is he wants them to put themselves in his
Yes.
shoes, in his situation and everything. They're right now at this moment quick to point their finger and basically calling him a hypocrite.
Yeah.
He's done something wrong, he just don't want to fess up to it, and everything, and of course we know that's not the case. So yeah,
Yeah. Well, and this goes to even nowadays, you'll take somebody that's set way up on a pedestal, when they get knocked over, like Dave was talking last Thursday night about the evangelists and the preachers been knocked down and been caught doing this and doing that. That goes to verse 5. Look at me and be stunned. Put your hand over your mouth in shock. And that's what people's doing to them, because they're like, dude, you was a pillar of this community, and now look at you. You're pretty much wallowing in the dirt, trying to cover your sores and lick your wounds.
all right. Anybody want to say anything? Add anything?
I think he's starting to solve this riddle a little bit, because he's realizing there's something going on with God, and there is. It's not that he's done wrong, but that's really where it's at. The rest is, for lack of a better word, a distraction, all the other things. And so at least he's knowing this is something between him and God, even though it is and it isn't, if that makes sense. So, but at least he knows that.
Yeah.
And he's he's trying to let so far know that, but he knows it's futile. He knows it's not gonna,
Yeah. All right.
Next section was
Next
7 through 18.
Session is 7 through 16, I think. Hang on. Yeah, 7 through 16.
Okay.
All right. I'm reading, correct?
It's up to you, baby.
Yeah, I'm reading. Okay.
She doesn't like the way I read.
Takes you just a little bit longer.
Uh-huh.
All right. Why do the wicked prosper, growing old and powerful? They live to see their children grow up and settle down, and they enjoy their grandchildren. Their homes are safe from every fear, and God does not punish them. Their bulls never fail to breed. Their cows bear calves and never miscarry. They let their children frisk about like lambs. Their little ones skip and dance. They sing with tambourine and harp. They celebrate to the sound of the flute. They spend their days in prosperity, then go down in the grave in peace. And yet they say to God, "Go away, we want no part of you and your ways. Who is the Almighty, and why should we obey him? What good will it do us to pray?" They think their prosperity is of their own doing, but I will have nothing to do with that kind of thinking. Okay, so in this section,
He's upset.
yeah. Which in this chapter, Job makes 3 points about the wicked that basically counter the points that Zophar was trying to make about the wicked. We know this is his first point, that the life of the wicked may be long.
Yes.
Meaning, most of the time, wicked people prosper. They don't get punished for their sins and everything. And in this section, he goes on and Job gives examples, of how the wicked prosper and everything. And don't you hate when you got something in your head and then it?
She has too many notes.
Okay. So, probably 8 times out of 10, the wicked prosper. they live long lives, they have a lot of possessions, they die rich. Not always the golly, like the whole thing, why does bad things happen to good people? Why do good things happen to bad people? On a spiritual level, God this is probably gonna
This life is just that once compared to everlasting.
right. Yeah, I mean,
Yes.
we had, yeah,
I think I know what she's thinking though. I almost said it too, but I'm trying to think of a nice way to say it too.
Spit it
Life
out.
is
God
just-
God will allow wicked people to have good lives here on earth.
And your actions don't necessarily guarantee
No.
that your life's gonna be good.
Right. And there are people out there who, do prosper and, rich, have all the nice toys and everything, who who doesn't give credit to God, they don't believe in God, God does nothing for them, yada, yada, yada. But as Christians, we have to realize, our reward isn't on earth, our reward is in heaven. God will give some wicked people the chance to redeem themselves. Usually they don't, but why does God allow it? Don't know.
God
Well-
wants us all.
Yeah, he
Right.
loves us all, and a lot of times, people talk about, well, how is the wicked able to do this and sleep at night? Most of them don't have a conscience. It does not bother them. To them, they're just, all they see is that dollar bill, or they see that new car, that new house, that new whatever. They don't see the consequences of who they trampled on in order to get there.
Right.
And somebody said, well, why is God allowing that? It falls back to the parenthood thing,
It's not just their test,
Yeah,
it's our test too.
that's right.
What parenthood thing?
Everybody has seen that child in Walmart that is wilding out, acting crazy, and you're like, give me 5 minutes with that child and I will straighten them out. No, you won't. You will not. That child is not yours. You do not have that connection with that child. You will not invest the time in that child that you would do your own, or the child that you chose to invest that in. I don't care who you are, you won't do it. It sounds good coming out your mouth, but as soon as you put in custody with them, I didn't ask for this. And God's sitting there going, if you was my child, I'd straighten you out, but you're not mine. You didn't choose me. You chose the world. Have the world. At the end of the day, baby, you'll see the treasures that you truly lost.
See, I also think that when bad things happen to good people, I also think it's a test on the good people to see how they react.
Yeah.
Because you can go north or south in the blink of an eye
Yes, sir.
at any number of situations.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Well, it's, God gives you the little things to see how you're going to take care of them. If you don't take care of them, why is He going to entrust you with bigger and better things?
I think that's a lot of times why wicked do prosper.
Yeah, because the only part of heaven they're going to see is on this side of the earth.
The only reward they get.
Yes.
Some people do, like when they get old or about to die, they may not find God, but they may realize, oh my gosh, I treated my wife horribly or my kid horribly, or I wish I spent more time with my family versus my business. And some people they do at the end figure that out sometimes.
Well, I mean, a lot of times, people on their deathbed do figure out, realize the things that they've done wrong in their life and everything. But if they don't make that ultimate profession of faith to God,
Yeah, I know.
they still stuck like Chuck.
I have mixed feelings about that.
what is it? Nursing home worker said she never heard a patient say, "I wish I'd worked more." Maybe I wish I could have worked longer, or felt that I was being productive, but nobody on their deathbed has ever said, "Man, I wish I'd worked more." Maybe go fish more, spend more time with family, friends,
Play more video games.
hit the drag strip one more time.
Terry might like that.
Terry's staring at his phone too.
I'll say, I think Terry's gonna be his drag strip.
Yeah, Terry's playing the drag strip game. It's okay. But a lot of times we do miss out on the true treasures of life. Chasing after what we truly think, what we think is a treasure. You know, God pretty much well lays it out for us plain.
Yep. Alright. Next, 17 through 21.
Woohoo!
This kind of goes along with the first point. But anyway, the second point is the wicked do not often experience calamity.
Boy, you use big terms.
Blame it on Warren.
Yes, ma'am.
Yet the light of the wicked never seems to be extinguished. Do they ever have trouble? Does God distribute sorrows to them in anger? Are they driven before the wind like straw? Are they carried away by the storm like chaff?
Jay.
Okay. Not at all. Well, you say, at least God will punish their children. But I say he should punish the ones who sin, so that they understand his judgment. Let them see their destruction with their own eyes. Let them drink deeply of the anger of the Almighty, for they will not care what happens to their family after they are dead. All right. So,
He's still upset at the wicked.
who?
Joe.
Well, yeah, I'd be, I mean,
Yes, I know that.
he's being called wicked by his friends because he's going through all this when that's really not the case, because,
They don't know the whole story.
well, they don't know the whole, Joe don't know the whole story.
Yes, I know. Sometimes you don't need to know the whole story.
And Joe's basically saying the opposite of what his friends are saying. They're
Right.
saying when you're bad, this bad stuff happens to you, and Joe's saying that's not true.
Yeah,
No,
that's
we've seen
not
a lot
always
of
the
bad
case.
people prosper.
Well, I mean, look at, if you look at the statistics, drunk driving. I don't know the actual percentages, but more times than not, usually the drunk driver don't have a scratch on them.
Yeah.
It's always whoever they wreck with.
Yeah, it's because they're loose and limber and ready to roll.
Right. So, I mean, there are lots of points showing, where wicked escape trouble. That's
Yes.
what calamity means. Trouble.
Yes, yes, I know.
What you said was a big word. I just
I said it was a big word. I didn't say I didn't know the definition.
Okay.
I grew up with Calamity Jane. It's a Western person.
Okay, good. I don't think I know Calamity Jane.
She was bad.
Well, I would probably say so. Okay. So, I don't know that they did, if his friends had made the comment that if God doesn't punish the wicked, they'll punish the children.
Well, it's talking about their sins go over to their children. The children carry on the sins of their fathers and mothers. Or the
But
sins of
did
their
one of his
fathers.
friends actually say that? I can't remember.
I don't remember.
I think in my commentary, Warren said that when these first two verses where he's asking, the questions about the wicked and everything, I think he was saying that Job was drawing the conclusion that his friends would say, you'd say, well, he'll punish their children. But really, okay, if you do something wrong and your child gets punished for it, but you're dead and gone, did you really learn anything from it?
No.
No. And then your poor child is like,
Poor
what did
Terry's
I do
over there
wrong?
shaking his head, yes.
Well, I mean, because like David had said one Thursday before, that we really don't know what their belief in heaven and hell is and everything. They believe that, you die, once you died, you died. There was no, not saying that there was no heaven or hell, but they didn't know about things that were going on.
Yes.
Okay? So, Job makes the point, you know, even if God punished the children, the wicked doesn't learn anything from it. They should be punished while they're here on earth, before they die. But that's not always the case.
Yes.
That's a short section. And you got anything else?
Not really.
Okay.
We'll roll with it.
Moving right along. Alrighty.
22 through 26.
Nope, 22 through the end. Alright. But who can teach a lesson to God, since he judges even the most powerful? One person dies in prosperity, completely comfortable and secure, the picture of good health, vigorous and fit. Another person dies in bitter poverty, never having tasted the good life. But both are buried in the same dust, both eaten by the same maggots. Look, I know what you're thinking. I know the schemes you plot against me. You will tell me of rich and wicked people whose houses have vanished because of their sins. But ask those who have been around, and they will tell you the truth. Evil people are spared in times of calamity and are allowed to escape disaster. No one criticizes them openly or pays them back for what they have done. When they are carried to the grave, an honor guard keeps watch at their tomb. A great funeral procession goes to the cemetery. Many pay their respects as the body is laid to rest and the earth gives sweet repose. How can your empty cliches comfort me? All your explanations are lies. I was thinking that. Okay, so Job's third point is the wicked die just like other people.
Yes, they do.
And that is the truth. When we all die physically, we all die the same way. We're all put in the ground. We all have creepy crawlies on us. Except for me, because I'm going to be cremated, because I don't want no creepy crawlies
too.
on me after death. So, I really don't know what Job's point is. Job's point is, life and death are at the hands of God.
Yes.
It is not, I don't want to say it's not for us to question, because, I mean, yeah, a lot of times you do have to ask God, you know, why are you doing this, why are you allowing this and everything, but no matter, and this is what his friends are guilty of, no matter how much we study, even though we are, you know, we are supposed to study and dig in the Word, you know, and everything, so that we can, you know, learn more about God and what He wants from us and everything. We can't explain anything God does.
No.
Our brains cannot even comprehend a fraction of His brain.
Well, you got to think. Zophar was sitting there telling him what all happens to the wicked. You know, they'll lose this, they'll lose that, this, that, and he's sitting there telling him point blank, no. He said, man, these people die. They are held up high. They have their funeral processions. They have a great number of people coming to the graveside to watch them get laid to rest. You know, they have people mourning them. They have people that gonna miss them. You know, they've got the same thing that the righteous have. He said, you know, that's why he said, it's a lie. Your argument is a lie. It's like people that use Facebook notes versus actual digging to see what it actually means, or doing the research to make sure what they read on Facebook is legit. Yeah, he's just going by what people told him.
I think, again, he's getting closer to the riddle, the answer to the riddle, because he's basically saying, well, you could be awesome and still have bad things happen. You could be good, and I mean, it can go either way. You could actually, there are some good people that have a good life. There are some bad people that have a bad life, and there's good people that have bad lives, blah, blah, blah. Like, he's coming back around saying, maybe I didn't do anything wrong. I mean, he hasn't said it yet, but they're proving that in all those scenarios, there's no guarantee.
Yes.
Right. Well, in the first part, his point is that no matter when or how you die, if you're a wicked person or if you're a righteous person or anything, the how and the when don't matter. What matters, the physical isn't what matters, it's the spiritual. So, death can come, we know death can come at any time.
Yes,
So we need to be prepared spiritually.
yes.
His friends are, trying to say the wicked die young, the righteous die old, but that is not always the case.
Well, I mean, this happened after, Egypt and stuff like that had, after Moses and everything. I mean, even though Egypt ended, or the reign of Pharaoh and stuff like that ended whenever Moses was escaping with the Jewish people, they still had years of productivity and being like a good empire, So, I mean, even though this one Pharaoh was mad that Moses, led the Jewish to the promised land, just because he ruined it doesn't mean other pharaohs before him, they didn't die young, some of them were pretty old, stuff like that. So, not all wicked people live, bad lives.
Yeah.
Spiritually, yeah, but physically, I mean, they still have wealth and everything.
Okay.
Well, it's-
What? I'm sorry?
Well, it's like Simon on the TV show The Chosen.
Mhm.
When he was arguing with God, he sat there and went from being slaves to being drug out to being stuck in the desert to this and that, and you still ain't doing what you're supposed to be doing with us. He was fussing the whole time. He was playing Job at that point, except for he was not righteous. He was full of sin, and Jesus stepped up onto his boat to tell him to throw the net out so he could pull in enough fish to take care of his debt and then to go on to bring more people to know Jesus Christ. This is still Job is pre-Jesus. He doesn't know about a Savior. But he does understand that wicked people can live extremely good lives. Yeah, instead of, as Zophar said.
Side note, The Chosen is an awesome TV show. Anyway.
It is. Pure Flicks, invest in it for a little bit, watch The Chosen once, twice, 3 times.
You can even download the app and watch it for free right now.
Yeah, on your phone. Yes.
Okay. Back to Job.
Yes.
Alright, so we did that first part. Okay. Alright, so this next section. Look, I know what you're thinking. I know the schemes you plot against me. You tell me of rich and wicked people whose houses are managed because of their sins. But ask those who've been around and they will tell you the truth. Okay. So Job is basically implying to his friends that their knowledge only goes so far as their homelands.
Yes.
They don't know about what happens around the world and everything. They don't ask travelers who, travel the world and everything, what things that they have seen and everything. They take their experience and make it gospel, basically.
Yes, ma'am.
We got a lot of people in this world nowadays that wants to take their experience and make it gospel, but that is not the case. That's not always the case.
G-Town Gospel.
Yeah, and then, hang on. Okay, and then he goes on, to say, even people are spared in times of calamity and are allowed to escape disaster, which, happens a lot. No one criticizes them openly or pays them back for what they have done. How many times do you correct someone who's done something wrong?
Many times you need to.
You get your point across.
That's right. 10 years and it still ain't worked.
So maybe you need to start correcting him, because evidently he's doing something wrong.
Where's the trash can, Daddy?
In the trash can.
That's what you keep telling me.
Well, this is a point that Joe was trying to make to his friends. You know, if you see the wrongness in the world, do you do anything about it? You know, they want to preach to him about everything that he's doing wrong and everything, and obviously they don't have a clue. They don't know what's going on behind the scenes. They want to be quick to speak for God and everything, but
Well, see, it all falls back to, they haven't read what Jesus said. Because, you know, they're pointing out the speck in his eye, but forgetting all about the logs in theirs.
Jesus wasn't born yet.
Yeah, I know, that's what I said. They need to read Jesus.
Alright, so now we get to the end where he says, how can your empty cliches comfort me? All your explanations are lies.
Lies,
Okay, so Job is basically telling his friends that their comfort is in vain and their answers are a falsehood. Hang on, what's this say? Oh, that's a side note for me. Okay. Warren points out basically that when they attacked Job, they were breaking faith and trespassing against God. So,
They were judging.
yes,
Yes.
they did not have all the facts. So they have no right to judge him. Just like how we want to be quick to judge people when we don't have all the facts.
Yes.
And I ain't gonna lie, I'm guilty doing that. And then I have to backtrack because God smacks me upside the head.
The big part, I made a little subliminal side note thing is, you know, you need to keep an open mind. Because
You do.
sometimes you just don't know. And you have to just suck it up and be like, oops, I didn't know that. And that's how you learn to grow.
Well, something that I hate.
Hate. Really doesn't. Yeah, I can tell you really do.
Is when someone tries to give me advice and they have never experienced what I'm going through. Like, well, I ain't gonna give an example because then
Then you start pointing.
I'll be telling on somebody and I ain't about that life. But anyway, but the point is, if you have never experienced the exact thing that you're going through, I mean, if you've never experienced the exact thing that someone who is your friend, a family member, whatever, an acquaintance, you can't give that person advice on it.
I disagree. I've sometimes even had a little child who really doesn't know a whole heck of a lot. Just say something that really, you know, makes you think, and is sometimes will give you, I know, but no, the child is just a good example. I've had it happen with adults too.
Yeah, children are different because children are still, in a sense, innocent.
Yeah.
And I think that children are prompted a lot more from God than we are, than adults are, because, huh?
Well, they're more willing to be a vessel.
Well,
That's the biggest thing.
Well, I mean, that's why Jesus says, you know, we are to be like children, because children are innocent. They don't have that. Even though a lot of children live in a negative environment, they don't have that negativity in them. Now, I'm not saying all children, but most children don't have that negative effect, and God can work them a whole lot easier than He can adults and everything.
I'm thinking maybe on like the judgment part. Like sometimes people who've never been in a situation can say something that gives you a perspective that you might not have thought about that can be helpful. Sometimes.
Yeah,
As long as you're not like rah rah rah, that's different. But sometimes I've had some people say stuff where they really didn't know, but they actually gave me something to chew on that I wouldn't have thought of. Because sometimes you're too close to this situation. Don't-
Well, sometimes you put your own walls up so you don't even look at your whole situation.
Yeah.
I feel like what Amanda, I refer to you like as that.
You call me mother. I don't care if
What
we're
I'm
on
supposed to
video.
say
You call me
is
mother.
In
I have earned
an
that time.
enabling sense. So like if they're,
Huh? No, you cannot call me mother.
I said a lot of people call me mother too.
Oh, well,
like.
we're not gonna finish
Are you
that.
referring to as somebody to like enable you to do something? Like not really like talking down to you or giving you advice. It's
Maybe
just
I
more
know
like-
it all. Like I know it all. Like let's pretend I know
Like, well,
nothing about
maybe-
baking and she's a baker
Yeah.
and I'm trying to give her advice on baking. That can be annoying.
You need more salt.
You know,
Yeah.
that can be annoying.
Salty dog.
Like in a sense where like if you don't do it if you don't do it a different way, then you're just gonna fail again. If that makes any sense. Like you can do it your way again, but it's fine if it works.
Like someone who knows nothing about cars is giving Mark advice on mechanical stuff.
Mhm.
Like that can be annoying. But sometimes people will say something randomly they don't know anything about it. Sometimes it helps.
I've had people without a clue say something.
Yeah. Sometimes.
Why didn't I think of that?
Because you're overthinking it.
That's God.
Well, I'm gonna go ahead and tell you.
She doesn't like it.
If you ain't been in my shoes, don't give me advice.
And on that note, don't start asking for advice or start explaining it without expecting, because that is normal for people to try
Now,
to
if
get.
I ask you for advice,
Yes,
this is what's going on. What do you think I should do?
yes.
Give it to me. But don't just come up and, honey, this is what you need to do. Did I
Maybe you
ask?
should do it for you.
Did I ask? You know?
Yeah.
Facial expression
Hmm?
is. Facial expression.
I know my facial expression is. I got an RBF, honey. So I know my expression
Like,
didn't say
sometimes-
nothing.
Sometimes you'll be like I can tell you going through something, and then I'm just kind of like, hey, what's up, you know? And then we go from there. So, it really just depends.
Right,
It's all subjective.
right. I love you.
I love you too, Mom.
Okay. What'd you say?
Hold on one. Terry, I love you.
Yeah, Terry, I love you.
See?
I love you.
I said I love you to my
I
son.
love you, Mom.
He's talking to the congregation.
Yeah.
I love you, Mom.
I know you too.
Okay. I'm gonna close out with this. Warren had put in his commentary that he has a friend, and I think that I think it's something that we all need to do. Because it'll help. I think it'll help. But anyway, he has a friend who says this prayer every day. Lord, help me today not to add to anybody's burdens. I think that is an awesome prayer.
Say it again, but say it loud.
Lord, help me today not to add to anybody's burden.
I want to make sure they heard it.
Man.
Amen. All right. That's all I got. Sounds great.
Anybody got anything else? Going once. You closing in prayer?
Huh?
You closing in prayer? Going twice.
You close the prayer.
No, you close this prayer.
Okay, I'm closing in prayer 3 times.
You know I'm all about going to a quiet room when I have to pray.
This room is quiet.
Yeah, David ain't here. What's up? He's watching.
He will be as soon as we post it.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Dear Heavenly Father, we want to thank you for letting us join together. God, we thank you for the use of your home. And Lord, we thank you for your word, Lord, that we're able to use in our life. We're able to spread your joy and your love to other people in this world, Lord. And God, we're going to lift up those names that's on our prayer list tonight, Lord. We're going to trust you with the solutions. And God, we're just going to be there. We want to be the willing vessel, Lord, that you use, Lord, that we're able to open up and give the words that people need, Lord. They're able to use it, and we're able to use it as well. God, we just want to thank you and praise you. We ask God in Jesus' sweet and precious name. Amen.
Amen.
See you Sunday.